Oh yeah, let me do a little pro tip for you. If you guys have a shipping container, meth house, whatever you want to call it, and your wife has a cat, you should probably write yourself a note, something like this. I guess you can kind of figure out what happened. Luckily, Fluffy Kitty was only in there for 2 days. 2 days in the dark, no food, no water. And I felt bad, so I went and got a replacement cat. Now we have 2 cats. Lucky me. But luckily I found Fluffy Kitty. For Fluffy Kitty, well, you know how that would have ended. So, anyway, let's get back to it. Alright, well, I should have started on this video earlier, but I had the boy working on his truck bed with the nylon cut brush and doing, you know, whatever. Then he was running the DA, so between the big grinder with the cut brush and the DA and compressor kicking on, I can't video, which, not that I'm complaining, I just can't video. But what I'm currently working on is probably one of my most favorite vehicles. And to look at it, you'd think I hated it, because, well, there's not a straight panel on this truck. Matter of fact, I didn't even know the passenger door was wonked until just now looking down the side of it. Either way, my 98 Tacoma. I've had this truck 4 or 5 years, and it looks like it has 500,000 miles on it. But it only have 200, so. Well, what I'm doing. So I've been working on this bumper for about 4 years now. I put the winch plate on and fitted everything and stuck the winch on, and that's how I left it. And then I'd piddle around, and I'd cut it back off, and I don't know, just never did like it. And then 2 years ago, I finally brought it in and said, you know what? I'm going to finish this stupid thing and make something out of it. So this is the best I could come up with what I had laying around. This was all pieces I individually cut. I bought the winch plate. I think I just said that. And then this tube in here, this actually used to be a pistol target, like a real tall, like three foot tall, like swinging pistol target. Well, I don't have a tubing bender anymore. Actually, I've had 2 and I've got rid of both of them, and now I'd like to have another one, so I'd like to have another JD squared bender. But as I was saying, I cut that pistol target up and made this thing, because actually here's a bullet hole that I welded up. There's the dent from the inside. But that's the best I could come up with. And because I got sick and tired of putting headlights and corner lights in it, because I knock them out all the time. And so I quit driving this thing about 2 years ago. And then last winter, I did timing belt and all kinds of junk. But yeah, it's a pretty good old beater. It's got pretty well worn Rancho struts. I did put JBA upper control arms on it about a month ago. New steering rack, wheel bearings. I bought it, it had those sliders on it. I used to hate those sliders, they stuck out so far, but honestly, had those sliders not stuck out that far, the whole side of this truck would look like the bed. And this was actually full of filler when I bought it, and I didn't know it. And I bumped this side and the bed at the dairy one time, and it slowly just like started coming out of there, and it was like half-inch thick in some places, and I finally pounded it out and whatever, and I was just playing around with some green paint there. Anyway, what I'm doing today, trying to get my skid plate on. I've also been working on that for about 2 years, and it's set outside and this, that, and the other. But 3 weeks from now, I think, maybe 4 weeks, December 17th, I'm going camping in this truck. So I got to kind of have all the stuff done that I have not done so I can go camping, because where we're going is an old Forest Service road, and you got to have 4-wheel drive to get in. Hurricane Creek Trail in North Carolina, you can YouTube it, and there's tons of videos on it. So I've been working on mounting the skid plate most of the morning. So this is where I'm at. All right. Now a bumper, it bolts on here clearly, and I got my winch motor. I got my receiver hitch. This is just to keep this screw jack is another thing I made, and it's not holding the whole truck up, it's just keeping it there. Then I kind of measured and plasmid. I didn't plasmid all the way through because I leave the little tabs. Now we can bend it and it stays. You don't have like 9 pieces of steel you're trying to hold together. So did it there. It's all the way back, clear past the transmission, or clearly to the transmission crossmember. That's how far back it goes. Hides all this. I still have to do a little trimming around the control arms. Have to put a hole in for the drain plug. I'm not real sure I'm gonna do that. I'm thinking about like an access hole with a bolt pattern, and I don't know. But I also want to run some 1-inch flat bar, like three rows of that, just to give it some rigidity in the middle. I still have probably 4 more tabs to make, and then what I'll do is, you can see this tab here is halfway welded on that one, and then on the other side I've got one right here, and I've got to do that one next, and then I'm gonna probably do maybe 2, maybe 4 across the transmission crossmember. I still have to weld all these little seams up. It's just tacked together. Like this is another one of those deals where I just plasmid it here, and that way I can bend it. But as far as bolting this thing on, everybody says I hoard stuff, which is probably pretty true. And what I got here is I got some scrap parts from work. They're a weld emboss with a M6 threaded through hole. Got a little edge, little chamfer on top there, and I will drill for this to drop in the frame, and then weld around the outside. And then for bolts, there's 99 and up Chevrolet trucks that I part out. There's a ton of M8 bolts on those things, and I keep all the bolts. Again, hoarding. So I got a ton of bolts. I got these, so I'm just going to use it. It's free stuff, and boy, I like free stuff. So I'm going to jump back on this thing. When I pull the skid plate down, then I'll kind of show you really what, how everything looks. The wind's blowing, so it's been taking my gas on the welder. I don't know how much more I can do out here tonight, but this is the first video on the Tacoma, and I will probably video the trip. It's not really my kind of content, but why couldn't it be, so hang tight, and I'll get back to you with some progress. All right, back on the Tacoma. Not sure where I left off yesterday, but I got the skid plate like 90% attached to the truck now, with those little weld bungs, whatever you want to call them. I decided to add another little skid plate to try to, there's a step in the front I'll show you. I made 6 of these. I just clamped them together, took the angle grinder and made them all match. I mean, I could have used the mill back there, but that means I'd have to clean it off. And then I used the grinder or the cut-off disc to cut all 6 of these. Could have used the plasma cutter, but it's buried back there somewhere. And this shop is just not big enough for 2 vehicles and full function. I mean, I can't even open my toolbox drawer all the way because it's 55. I have to stand beside of it and reach across. I'll show you where these things go. What this is going to do is, not that direction, put one on the end and then 4 down the middle. There'll be another plate to kind of bridge that, you know, because it's got this step. I don't necessarily know if that would ever hurt it, if I got hung on something or whatever, but it would be a whole lot more slick if it just made that one smooth transition all the way down. I got a little bit of a lip here to cut off, so this plate will actually bolt on through the sides of these. That way I can get to the bolts that be under here. I was going to weld it all one piece, but honestly it is a pain enough. It's a pain enough to try to get this thing lined up as big as it is. So it'd be nice to be able to take this plate off if I had to access this receiver hitch, because if something was to happen, because this little mechanism right here is spring loaded, and that's how the pin releases in the hitch, because it's all hidden in there. So you pull that all the way back and you can put a, you know, a clevis, trailer ball, whatever fits in a basket, who knows, a toilet seat, you know, it's a camping truck. So that's where I'm at. I got to cut this flat plate and then tack these pieces in, and just kind of winging it as I go. I am no fabricator, I am no welder. It just goes to show you that, hey, if I can do this junk, anybody can do this stuff. So, and really, you're the only one that has to like it. And nobody else likes it. Well, you know that they could have came by and done it for you. So, all right, I'll be back. Well, I got a little further. It's only like 3:30, but I'm calling it for the day. Kind of feel like Fido's butt ain't feeling too good, so I think I'm gonna go in, take a break, restart in the morning. What we got here is this plate here will make up this section. I should have welded these on the other way. I couldn't even get in there to weld it like a dum-dum. I should just ground the flange off, but I'll probably cut them off anyway and do them like those over there, because I could actually get in there to weld those. So these will be welded. And if you're wondering why the gap is different, I'd momentary lapse of reason, I thought it'd be cool to kind of countersink fog light in there or something, which then after I'd tacked everything I thought would be dumb, because I'd just knock it out. But I'm gonna do what I feel like doing and just leave this crap where it's at. Hope for the best. All this is just gonna unbolt so I can access bolt holes in there. So I got a bunch of this stuff to grind and make it look like one big piece. It's getting there. Still have some trimming. I got lots to do. Hopefully I'll feel better in the morning, because if not, then, well, I don't know what I'll do. Maybe I just struggle through and fix it, or finish it, or something. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Alright, well, when I ended that video last week saying that I did not feel good, I could not have been more right. It has been 6 days since I've been in the shop, and I'm still not 100% today. So it wasn't the Kung flu or the Wu flu or whatever, but it was something, and it sidelined me for a couple days. So as sick as I am of working on this skid plate, I guess because I just don't feel like it today, I need to finish, well, I need to make the access hole to drain for the drain plug. So that's what we're going to do on this video, and it may end up just being it. I don't know, depends on how I feel. I was scrounging through my scrap pile and I found this piece, which is roughly 1/4 inch. It's a little heavy considering the plate is made out of this 3/16. I think that's what it is. But I did scrounge through my junk pile and I found the 3/8/16 thread countersunk Allens, and this plate is just enough to countersink those flush with that. So that's one reason kind of going with this. And another is I was going to radius this anyway. Actually, I sat down and drew it out, and I guess I accidentally threw it away because I can't find my drawing. So what I'll do is I'll just, well, this already has a radius, so we'll just copy this radius. We'll cut this one off or something, or, well, I'll cut my plate out 6x6, and then we'll use this to get my radius on the other 3 corners. I was going to just do this with the grinder like I've been doing, because not everybody has a plasma cutter, and you know, there's a couple of channels that say do it with the grinder. You don't have, if I do it with the grinder, then you don't have any, you know, excuse not to do it with the grinder too. But I am not feeling like cutting that out with a grinder today. And when I came down here, I was like, I gotta clean up. So for the last 4 hours I've been cleaning this shop, so I'm pretty much spent already. But let's get this thing cut out, and I'll show you kind of what my idea is. And hopefully we can get this plate. I gotta get the truck down here. I'll have to pull the skid plate to get the drain plug measurements, you know, come off the front and the sides, left, right, and get it right, so I can drain the oil. I may pull it off to see. I don't know. We'll just have to wing it. But let me get this plate cut out, and I'll show you kind of what I got in mind. Like I said, I did drag the plasma cutter out just because I am not grinding this. I just am doing this cut off blade, whatever. I'll set you up, and time lapse, whatever. So, hang in there. All right, I'm just going to kind of wing it on the 6x6 here. I don't even know where this plate come from. I have no idea. Oh yeah, let me do a little pro tip for you. If you guys have a shipping container, meth house, whatever you want to call it, and your wife has a cat, you should probably write yourself a note, something like this. I guess you can kind of figure out what happened. Luckily, Kitty Foo Foo, Fluffy Kitty, was only in there for 2 days. 2 days in the dark, no food, no water. And I felt bad, so I went and got replacement cat. Now we have 2 cats. Lucky me. But luckily I found Fluffy Kitty. For Fluffy Kitty, well, you know how that would have ended. So, anyway, let's get back to it. Okay, like I was saying, 6x6 sounds big enough. We'll mark it up here. It's got a little booger on it too. All right, 6x6. Keep this big old heavy flat bar around. What in the world?
keep this big heavy flat bar around just for this reason. So I can cheat and make really straight cuts. You want to hold off a 1/2 inch from your line because your tip is roughly going to be off by a 1/2 inch. Some are that way, not all. Yes, I don't know. Mine is a Power Max 45, so. Hypertherm Power Max 45. Alright, let's get the cut in here. These are circling radius stencils. I've used them in the past. All the holes. These are set up for that Power Max cutting tip. So it's a 1/2 inch hole. This is actually a 3.5 inch hole that'll cut a 3 inch hole. They're all labeled. You also have your center lines, and then you have the external radiuses, which you can use, which are very handy. All the way 1/2 inch to 3 inch. 911motorsports.com. Very handy. Cheap too. Look at that. We're going to use that end of that one, whatever that radius is. Clamp that. Remember, you got to hold a 1/2 inch off of that radius. And I'm just going to eyeball it. As far as the standoff goes. It's fine. Close enough. Clean up the edge, good enough. This plate being quarter, what it looks like. This 3/16, which is 187, obviously 250 thick. That gives you what? 62.5, something like that. That's going to be sticking through once it's flush. So now, say this is our plate and this is our hole. It'll be one bolted here, but obviously like this. One here, one here. This side's going to have like a little deal that goes in. That way it kind of hinges, but it's not really a hinge, just like a flip, a flange, whatever. So you'll push this end in, flip this up, and bolt it. On this inside, keep in mind, you're looking, this is the inside of the skid plate. You're looking from the oil pan down. There'll be pieces welded on the skid plate. Well, something similar to this. So that bolt hole here, 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 and here. And also something for that plate to push against when I do slide it across whatever I aim it at. That's pretty much our plan. So we need to cut 4 pieces, drill and tap 3 of them for 4 holes. And yep, that'll do it, George. So hopefully that makes sense. I actually took my time and drew that out, so it would make sense. The only other question is, what the heck am I going to make? I only have so much of this left. No, man, that's not even right stuff. Can't use this. Maybe in luck. So here's our lip to throw up in there and let it hang. That'll get welded there. And then we can cut this, minus the grease. We cut this into 3 pieces to weld to the skid plate, and that's what this access panel will bolt to. So, piece here, and then 2 pieces on the side. So should have plenty. I'll make it do. I'll make it work. Let's get some measurements here. Four inches would be plenty. Oh yeah, got 15 1/4. We need 12 inches. Even with the loss where the cut is, we'll be just fine. So, throw that on the floor. Set this at 4 inches. Cut the table. Also can't see. There's that one. We'll clean this end up. Boy, I need a haircut. All right, back at it this Saturday. Didn't really get a whole lot done yesterday. I've been welding some of these seams up where I plasma cut it and made my folds and bends. And I really get, sometimes I just get wrapped up down here and I forget to film or video, whatever you call it. But I've got my access panel pretty well how I want it. I'm going to add some more pieces to this so my flange will be more like 3/4 of the way around to this. Let me show you what I got going on. All right, it's kind of fuzzy from the grinding, but these 4 pads were areas where the factory skid plate mounted. So I put, like, what I did is I just folded these pieces over, and I was originally going to bolt through those, but decided not to. Slick on the bottom. So these will be more like a support. So I went around those pieces over here, and then here's the panel. This will be your lip that you'll stick in, and it'll kind of hang on that. These will be the pieces. Now this gets welded to the panel. These pieces get welded to the plate, and I'm going to
make me some funky triangle. I probably should have took my time and cut these evenly, which I could probably slice this one again. But these will get welded to the plate, and these are the pieces that'll be drilled and tapped. So this panel will bolt into this with these socket head cap screws, countersunk Allen head, whatever. You get what I'm saying. Hopefully these will be long enough. If not, I'll run out to the hardware store and get some more. I've been welding my seams on the back side. I just ran a straight bead. Like, I'm no welder by no means. So sometimes I can make decent welds, and then sometimes it's like I'm real brand new with this. I just don't do it enough. So, but I'm gonna go around the back sides of these, and then I'll make a piece to where it supports the weight, because this is going to be in the center, and I'm sure it's going to get stressed at some point, hopefully sooner than later. So that's where we're at. That's where I'm at. I really got to get this thing done. I've got to get this Tacoma out of the way, because I've got to get back on this S10. So I'm going to get these welded up, and I'm going to drill them. I'm just going to 1/4 inch drill through this backside into the plate, and then that way I know where to drill on the other side, and then do my countersink. That makes sense. Hopefully it does. So, all right, all I got left is a ton of flap wheeling to try to smooth these outer edges. I don't really care about the inside. There's no point in doing anything with that. I got my countersink tool, probably needed to be a 3/4 countersink, because I maxed out that 1/2 inch tool, and these bolt heads are just a bit bigger than 1/2 inch. They're probably right around 5/8 OD. I didn't check them, but you get the idea. Kind of missed a little bit on the bolt layout, but then again, I pretty much just guessed at it. Then again, I just winged it. Just kind of eyeballed it, marked it. Still got some welding to do here and there, but oh man, it's getting close. Hopefully it all still fits when I put it back up in there, so that'll be a big plus. I have some flat ribs to put on it, but I don't think I'm going to put those on until it's under the truck. And then again, I may not even put those on there at all. Haven't decided yet. Yeah, it may have to be test fit again, and then those put on, tacked into place, pull back off, welded. I'm going to try to knock the rest of this out, and hopefully we'll get to show you what it all looks like put together. All right, well, I think I'm going to wrap it up right there. There's a few adjustments I had to make. I'm not sure really what changed as far as the mounting stuff goes. I need to cut one tab and bolt it and then re-weld it. Something funky is going on there. Not a big concern. Honestly, I'm just flat sick of messing with it. I'm ready to be done with it. So really everything but one bolt worked out. It seems to be okay. I guess we'll find out. But hopefully you can see. It's just, there's a lip here that I'm not real thrilled about. Technically, I guess this upper should go this upper should go over, but I guess I'll address that if something ever happens. But it is slick all the way to the transmission cross member. You can see the access panel. So, and it covers all the radiator from the sides and whatnot. But I don't know. I'm not a fab guy. I'm not a weld guy. Just try to do what I can when I can. And if I can do it, hey, anybody else can. So, that being said, thanks for the people that take the time to watch. I promise I'm going to get back on the Impala. Like I said, this thing has the destination in 2 weeks, so kind of have to work on it for now. I got to get back on the S10. That'll start tomorrow. So you'll see more S10 stuff and some Impala stuff to come. I have a will it run that I need to gather everything up for. It's
not going to be your average will it run. I mean, we're going to see if it will run, but I have a little twist that I want to throw in there that I've not seen anybody else do. And well, this could be educational, entertaining, and maybe disastrous. So get the fire extinguishers ready. So on that note, thanks for watching Left 4 Dead Garage, and we'll see you on the S10 later.